With the story of the original White Tiger, Hector Ayala's story now complete, we can continue with this tiger tale of a story with the people who have picked up the mantle of White Tiger. There are 4 more White Tigers in the Marvel Universe to explain. Our first stop is in 1997, and a book called Heroes for Hire. This iteration of the character is a result of genetic experimentation by a supervillain named the High Evolutionary. He captured a white Bengal tiger and mutated her into a humanoid warrior that he called White Tiger. High Evolutionary had tasked this White Tiger with taking out Man-Beast for him and the New Men. She then joined the Knights of Wundagore to take back the Citadel at Wundagore Mountain, and when they finally defeated Man-Beast, High Evolutionary turned this White Tiger back into her original form. Our next stop is in 2002 in the Black Panther series. This is where we meet an NYPD officer from the narco division called Kevin Casper Cole. Cole was investigating the 66 Bridges gang, which was run by his own father. Cole met up with current Black Panther Eric Killmonger, and Killmonger gave him some of the herbs that granted Black Panthers their powers, and Cole was turned into the new White Tiger, and joining the crew with people like Isaiah Bradley, Josiah X, and War Machine. The next stop after that is White Tiger number 4 with Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev's Daredevil issue 58. This is where we meet Special Agent Angela Del Toro. When we first meet S.A. Del Toro, she and Agent Driver had brought in a Yakuza and Philly crime cartel guy named Sana Ori for interrogation, trying to follow a MGH, that's mutant growth hormone trafficking operation, and charging him with conspiracy to commit murder. Angela is Hector Ayala's niece. She grew up with Hector after he retired. She knew Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Misty Knight through this connection. Angela had mastered in criminology and then joined the FBI. And Angela had gotten Hector's old amulets after someone mysteriously shipped them to her in an evidence bag which came straight out of the police evidence locker. Once she touched the amulets, she became White Tiger, aka Tigresa Blanca. But by this time, her partner had been killed and Angela left the FBI and was now operating out of her partner's former apartment in the city. At night, she would sneak out in a black bodysuit and white high tops to fight crime like going after King Cobra. Daredevil set Angela up with a costume shop in Hell's Kitchen, which is where she dropped the black cat attire and donned her new White Tiger costume. She then went after Cobra, Deadpool, the Lizard, and the Yakuza against an emerging backdrop of civil war and talk of a superhuman registration act with help from both Daredevil and Spider-Man. While working for a firm called 212 Security, she also brought in Luke Cage, her Tio, Danny Rand, and even Black Widow for help against the Yakuza. Later, she was stabbed and killed by a hand agent named Lady Bullseye. But she was then resurrected as a hand agent and then teamed up with Lady Bullseye and Black Tarantula to go after Daredevil. In the Shadowlands story, Angela's descent into darkness continued, was eventually arrested and sent to a prison called the Cellar. Later, after the Serpent and his hammer wielders wreaked havoc on the planet during the Fear Itself event, we meet the 5th White Tiger, a lady named Ava Ayala. Ava was the baby of the Ayala family. After Hector found the amulets and was focused on being White Tiger, their parents were killed, and so Ava went to live with their older sister, Awilda Ayala. Hector stayed away so his sisters would be safe. Ava inherited the White Tiger amulets from Angela Del Toro. Ava joined Avengers Academy in issue 20 of that series. They all showed up on the campus located at the former West Coast Avengers headquarters for training, and here she would spar with Tigra. After Tigra introduced her to the larger Academy roster, she immediately called out Reptile, scolding him for not representing the Latino community more prominently after her brother Hector Ayala kicked in the door for others. Ava also proved pretty skilled during a pickup basketball game on campus, that is until Ava and Reptile went at it again. Soon thereafter, an evil alien named Hybrid made his way onto Avengers Academy campus by looking like a kid named Jimmy. Reptile found out and agreed to let him attack the Avengers if he would just leave Finesse and their own child alone. Ava shared her backstory with Humberto, Reptile, and they got closer, she thought. This was a setup to allow Hybrid to attack Ava as well. As he tried to rip the amulets off of Ava's neck, Hybrid reeled in pain as the amulets burned him. Reptile changed to his dinosaur form, and he and White Tiger battled. Her necklace powered her up, and Ava blacked out, and she went into a fury, clawing at Reptile's neck, and she was shocked at herself, so she stumbled back, even as Reptile's blood dripped down her forearms. It was futile. White Tiger, Reptile, X-23, and the others were now under Hybrid's control. Hybrid sent his team to attack the rest of Avengers Academy, and while fighting with Finesse, Reptile knocked Ava with his tail, freeing her of Hybrid's mind control, and he sacrificed himself to save Ava and the others. Pym mentioned that Ava's amulets were one of the few things that actually hurt Hybrid. They used this knowledge to then send Hybrid straight to Limbo. When Avengers Academy took in the Runaways team, Victor Mancha talked with Ava about how Hector was his hero growing up. They all went to Giant Man's lab and used Nico Minoru's magic to charge the machine, and with Humberto's amulet, they opened a portal to a distant jungle where they went to look for a dinosaur named Old Lace, friend of the Runaways team. Unfortunately, the Runaways thought this was a trap, and the two teams briefly battled there in the jungle, with Clara wrapping a tree around White Tiger and Finesse. Ava Ayala was right in the line of sight when a naked Hercules came to campus as an ancient history guest teacher. This was just before Captain America and some Avengers showed up to tell them AVX was on, and they were at war with Cyclops' Phoenix Force-empowered X-Men. It meant that Wolverine brought the X-students to Avengers Academy for safety. The two factions ended up battling right there on the campus on the cliffs by the sea. Ava took on Primal, and when he was put to sleep, he fell right on top of White Tiger and passed out. At the end, they decided to work together, but before they did that, they went surfing. After X-23 confronted Justin about his Sentinel, Ava went to talk with Laura Kinney, X-23. She said she wanted to ask Justin out to a concert, but if X-23 was going for him, then she would step back. When the Phoenix Force-empowered Emma Frost showed up on campus, White Tiger was one of the students to join X-23 to fight back against the White Queen. As a result of the attack, Tiger had told the team that Avengers Academy was now disbanded and that they did this for their own safety. Most of the team went to Hawaii for vacation, while White Tiger and Reptile ended up at the secret headquarters of Armor with Jennifer Kale before heading to Manhattan and the Briggs Foundation building to learn about superpower inhibiting nanobot tech and the government's secret spin program. Jeremy had aerosolized the tech and tweaked the formula, which he now called Clean Slate, and offered it to the team to make them quote-unquote normal. White Tiger said she likes her powers, but was hoping the spin gas would help her control them a little bit better. Clean Slate ended up depowering the supers, but not the magic users like White Tiger, and for people with developed fighting abilities like Finesse. Briggs made his young masters of evil, and they fought, with White Tiger and her group falling through a hole in the floor where they were knocked out amid the rubble. White Tiger collected Reptile while Finesse and Lightspeed picked up X-23. They went to escape from the Briggs building, but had to get White Tiger's amulets back first. Separated from the amulets, Ava was already starting to feel ill, a symptom that Hector also experienced in his early days. Humberto asked Ava if she was going through withdrawals, and she reacted angrily, thinking of Hector's own problems with addiction and the fact that she wanted to honor Hector, but also knowing that he would have been against Ava going out as White Tiger to do that. He didn't want her to get hurt in his name. That's when they ran into Coat of Arms from Briggs' crew. She had Reptile's amulet on one hand and Ava's amulet on another wrist. Lightspeed was stabbed, so Ava pulled that out of her friend and lunged at Coat of Arms, taking the entire group to fight her. When Ava was struck with one artifact, White Tiger was transported to another realm and ended up having a talk with the power behind the amulets, manifesting and appearing as a green glowing tiger before her. The tiger provoked her until Ava finally accepted her legacy, that she wasn't forced into the role, that it wasn't meant for somebody else, but that she was meant to be White Tiger. This was her destiny. And with that declaration, her powers returned once more, and then they were finally able to defeat Coat of Arms. They made it to the roof just in time to see Jeremy and Sylvie, Enchantress, launch a barrage of missiles with Clean Slate warheads on board. When Lightspeed worked with Veil to stop the missiles, others attacked Jeremy while Reptile and White Tiger fought with Enchantress. But Enchantress got mad and just quit, so they all ended up confronting Jeremy together, and they finally took him out and stopped the missiles too. Afterward, they had a break in the action and all split up to play some football at Marvell Field. And then in the last issue of Avengers Academy, Finesse walked down to the beach and found Ava and Humberto. Ava said she'd been getting help from Iron Fist to get more in touch with the Tiger God. So Finesse kept walking and left them alone. And Pim and the teachers ended up congratulating the class and made them all official Avengers, 3rd grade, the Avengers of Tomorrow. A couple months after that, Ava was still on AA campus, now depressed because something had started happening between her and Humberto, but then he got called away to find his parents. Depressed and forlorn, she perched in a tree while Tigra talked with her. In Young Avengers, White Tiger was one of the heroes to assemble against a character named Mother. Ava then joined the Mighty Avengers along with Power Man and Blue Marvel, just as Spider-Man, Spectrum, Luke Cage, and Spider-Hero stood up the team. During her time with the Mighty Avengers, White Tiger developed a bond with Power Man, and they had somewhat of a symbiotic bond where they were enhancing each other's powers. So she was able to make a tiger out of Power Man's chi, and they used it to defeat Shumagorath. During the Infinity event, White Tiger stood with the Mighty Avengers against Proxima Midnight, and then Ava and Victor used their combined power to take down Cerebus. Superior Spider-Man at one point came to their Gem Theater headquarters and whipped them into his Superior Avengers team. They now had to fight a group of Deathwalkers called the Four, who rule in shadow. Ava Ayala later went to kill Gideon Mace as revenge for killing her parents, but her team came to her rescue and to stop her before she could go through with it and do something she could never take back. She was then taken to Blue Marvel's base called Kedesh Base. There she again confronted the Tiger God, who now wanted to kill Ava. Ava convinced Tiger God that if she died, the amulets would be damaged, and in turn, Tiger God would be dead too. So instead of killing her, he gave her full control of the White Tiger power. After the Mighty Avengers, Ava then joined the New Avengers along with Power Man. And then in Rome, Ava was confronted by Angela del Toro, who thought that Ava had stole the amulets from her. Angela had acquired an alternate reality White Tiger amulet, and so the two battled each other. And in the fight, Ava's Tiger God ended up finally leaving her. For 2017's US Avengers 1, Marvel released a series of variant covers assigning an Avenger to each state and territory for the US. For that set of variants, White Tiger became the Avenger of Puerto Rico. Despite losing her power, Ava stayed on as White Tiger. She was with the team as they confronted Deathlock, Quake, Jenna Simmons at S.H.I.E.L.D., where Rick Jones was being held captive, and she ended up kicking Deathlock's wrist rocket launcher right off his arm. Ava again confronted Angela del Toro during the time when Angela was part of the new Revengers team that attacked Avengers Base 2. The two family members fought hard against each other, and in the battle, Ava ripped Angela's amulet off her body, which freed her from the White Tiger and from the control that the Hand had still had on her. They teamed up to beat Maker's team, then they both decided to retire. However, in 2017, Ava met up with the Defenders, Daughters of the Dragon, Black Cat, and Echo to take on Titania's gang. In 2018, she joined the Daughters of Liberty to find out who killed Thunderbolt Ross and to find out who had set up Captain America to take the fall for the murder. It brought them to Silver Sable's ex-husband, known as the Foreigner. Together, they also planned to storm a superhero prison complex called Myrmidian, run by Wolfgang von Strucker of the Power Elite, the network that rose to power after Hydra fell after Secret Empire. In 2019, Ava and Angela fought once more, but now side by side, and against the Legion of the Hand at the Sons of the Tiger Kung Fu School. Ava then flew with Captain America and Sharon on a Wakandan VTOL ship on a mission to remind the world that Captain America was good. She launched into a border dispute disagreement with Steve, with them both coming from very different perspectives on the matter. She and Cap dropped into a town overrun by soldiers called the Watchdogs to save the migrants there from being abused. They fought their way into a watchdog facility where White Tiger picked up a gun and disintegrated one of the evil guards. Later, she ended up in a hallway scene, something like Daredevil on Netflix, where she was kicking guards in the face while Steve bounced his shield off the wall. Ultimately, they ran into Cynthia Schmidt, Sin, and Sin fought White Tiger briefly before she portaled away. Then during the Contagion event, White Tiger was paired up with Elektra, the Punisher, and Black Tarantula, and then joined in with Moon Knight, the Thing, and Doctor Strange's crew to fight against the Wrecking Crew and the Contagion. White Tiger then went to space in Empire Aftermath to celebrate the wedding of Wiccan and Hulkling. Then in 2021, White Tiger was back on Earth and going on missions with the likes of Winter Soldier and Misty Knight as they continued to track the Power Elite and both Sin and Red Skull. Recently, White Tiger appeared in the Marvel Voices Communicates book, featuring right on the cover. She was in a story called White Tiger's Secret Savior, and in that story she ran into Mr. Fear. She almost succumbed to the fear gas and was almost killed before Chimera showed up and punched Mr. Fear. They teamed up to take him down and then parted ways for now. And speaking of parting ways, that's a wrap on this one, my friends. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.